Hey guys, so we're right now at Marketing Festival with Dan Ariely himself.
Hello. Goodbye. Bye.
You probably know him from loads of his books or podcasts. He's also a university professor on behavioral economics. And yeah, so I would really love to know like what your view on education today is. Like probably too broad, but let's focus on like, especially in this space like of marketing and stuff like that. How do you see the state of it?
Yeah. So look, I think there was a period in history that people got education and get a job for life.
Yeah.
Pace of change, knowledge is too high for that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not like you learn how to read and then you have a job for life. So now what's happening is that we need to instill the love of learning. Mm-hmm. Because you can't stop, right? If you think that the next 10 years, the speed of change will be, let's say, the same as the last 10 years, it means that lots of things are going to change, and we need to be on top of that. So I think one thing that we need to do is we need to change from learning things to getting to love to learn. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that, and I'm here representing my biased view of the world, is I love experiments. And for me, experiments are about modesty. Experiments are about we don't know what the answer is, and then let's find out. And then the third thing is we are certainly in a data revolution. Mm-hmm. Like if you think about our ability to learn, to study, to understand what's going on is changing dramatically. And I think everybody needs to have some data skills. So I think love of learning, experiments, statistics.
That's where it needs to go.
I think those are the things that we are kind of the fundamentals of learning. And then we're going to have a real challenge with multidisciplinary versus deep knowledge in a specific domain. Leonardo da Vinci, right? They said knew nothing about everything. Right? Like we did at that point. I mean, he was an amazing guy. But we didn't really know much about medicine. But he was on top of everything, right? But we didn't know that much. Now, if you're a Nobel Prize winner in physics, you don't even know all of physics. You know, a very small,
super specific thing.
So there's a real, I think, question about so much of what we're doing is multidisciplinary, and how are we going to get there with the pressures for deep knowledge? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be. So we need to think about not just about the individual, but about groups and working together. And how do we get shared knowledge? So let's say I sit in a room with a biologist. Yeah. If we're all so differently trained, how do we even talk together to talk? So we need to think about some common curriculum to have a common language as well.
Yeah, like the first couple of years, just as it is now, I've heard this opinion like quite a few times, that it should definitely be connecting people with like the same base knowledge, but then based on the expertise, like there's so many things school doesn't sort of open you up to, right?
Yeah, school. So when people come, I teach at Duke.
Yeah. So
when people come to Duke, I tell them, look, if you're just going to go and sit in classes, it doesn't really matter where you go. Mm-hmm. If you just observe knowledge, it doesn't matter where you go. But if you come to university, the way to do it is to think about being an apprentice. Find a professor that you really love how they think and try to learn from them by doing. Like, if you came to Duke for 2 years and you worked in my research lab, it's stuff that you can't get in a book, right? It's about having coffee together, and it's about saying, why is this like this? And it's really about getting to see the world from somebody who's an expert in something. So I think that, we used to have lots of apprenticeships. That was the model of learning and so on. And I think we moved to mass production, which is education, But I don't think it's good enough substitution. I think we
that's
do
very
need to
interesting.
figure out some apprenticeship model. So I have about 30 undergrads in my research lab every year.
Yeah.
It's a small number, but I think we need to get more of that somehow.
Yeah.
So if I stood in front of a class, live, not live, video, I mean, you could do economies of scale, but there's no substitute, sadly, to sitting together and thinking. So
true. Like from the mentors I've met, like actually having the conversation brings always so much more than like listening to the big talk or whatever they're doing, right?
that's right, because what happens is you get to figure out where your knowledge and your interest meet that material, right? And those meeting places are important. So I like, for example, workshops more than I like talks. Talk is one-sided.
Yeah.
A workshop is saying, okay, I've finished talking to you about this topic. You understand something about it. Now tell me where it meets your interest and what you do differently. And then let me give you feedback on that. And then you have the real building that has a lot of potential.
Very true.
Okay.
Let's get that mentorship going.
Very good.
All right. And like any, is there a way to like, because in behavioral economics you talk a lot about like making people do certain things.
Yeah.
Is there like one major sort of method to make people do something that you want them to do?
So there's the big insight is about the environment matters.
Yeah.
Right. So for example, if I control your calendar, I could get you to do different things in terms of your time. If I could control your kitchen, I could get you to eat differently. And one of the interesting domains now is money, because if money is physical and in your wallet, we don't have as much control. But the moment money becomes digital, and especially if you think about cryptocurrency and money being more flexible, there's all kinds of really interesting things we could do to change people's financial environment to get them to make different decisions. So I'm very excited about the future of getting people to think better about money.
Awesome. Yeah, just like in Dan's recent book that launched in Czech Republic as well. I'm probably going to show like a little snippet from the launching event we did. Okay, Dan, thank you very, very much for joining us in Prague and for giving me your time. I hope to see you sometime soon as well.
I'm sure we will. Take care.
Thank you.